Hello and welcome to another episode of Corgi Town USA. I am Candy. In my lap is Chuckles, our spokescore.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and at my side is Digby, my son.
She can't say his name.
No,
Digby the Doof.
Digby the Doof.
Good old Digby the Doof is a member of the Corgi committee, as is Tito Bandito, the youngest member, and Mortimer Barnabas, and our little booger.
And our little booger. And today we have a special guest,
Mhm.
little
Your foster?
my little foster, little Miss Millie.
Millie, yeah, she's
She's an honorary corgi.
kicking
today.
floof and taking names back there.
That's right.
If you're new here, hi, welcome. We typically have the whole Corgi committee here eliciting a cacophony of borks, knocking down equipment, all those fun things that you would expect out of a place called Corgi Town. But we do have new episodes every week, all about things pet parent lifestyle, traveling with your pet, health and well-being. We're here about the puppers first, of course, your pets and our lives with our pets.
That's right.
And we are bringing back the Creator Series this season in a big way.
We are. And the Creator Series are those people with talent
that do puppy and kitty things.
They
things.
specifically do pet things, puppy things, kitty things. And our guest
sometimes
today,
lizard things.
Sometimes lizard things.
Yeah,
and our guest today is very specific to corgis, because of, well, we'll
Small
talk
herding
more
breeds.
about it, but because of the way a corgi is shaped.
Yes.
That loaf-like shape that we've all come to know and love.
And if you have a corgi, you're listening, you've been with us, this is likely not the first time that you've experienced purchasing something online or maybe even in a pet store, and you think, oh, my pup is not that big. He's maybe 20, 30 pounds, and you get the garment and maybe it fits in some places and doesn't fit in others, and it's too small in some and too large in others. Well, someone has thought of that.
Yes, because
it's fixing that problem for us.
Corgis are medium-sized dogs.
They're not small
with little legs.
They're not
like dachshunds who are small dogs with small legs. They are medium dogs with small legs. So we have someone who has fixed that problem, and let's bring her on.
Yeah, let's bring her on. Everyone, please welcome Christine with LowRider Petco. Christine, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. We're so excited about what you're doing. This, again, we all need this as corgi parents. We need things to fit. And I have some friends that when we do these costume contests and things, they're very crafty. They can sew things and make things and measure things. I am not. We really need people like you to make these things for us. So please give us an introduction, brief introduction of you, your pets, what inspired you, how you got started.
Yeah, so I have been a career merchant my entire career since graduating school at some of the biggest retailers in the US. I started my career at Target, where I worked on one of their private label brands, Cat and Jack. From there, I went to Jet.com. Those in the East Coast will have heard of it. It is a e-commerce website that is a kind of like a smart shopping system where if you buy the right group of products together and you save the company money when it comes to fulfillment, you'll get a discount on your order. So I joined right after Jet was acquired by Walmart, and that's kind of how my pet career started. I was there for about 4 years, and I was coincidentally placed in the pet category. At that time, I didn't have a dog yet. My only experience with dogs was volunteering at animal shelters, which I loved. But during my time at Walmart and Jet, I worked on both the e-com side, the brick and mortar side, and I focused on both dog and cat. Some of the brands that you may know that I worked on are Pro Plan, Purina Pro Plan. I launched that brand on Walmart.com about 5 years ago. Huge brand, great products. And from there, my next company was actually on the seller side. So I got recruited to a very, very small startup called Aquico. And what we do at Aquico is we buy and we grow marketplace brands. So this was my first time venturing out from being the retailer to being the seller. Anything from new product development, sourcing, new product launch, all of that on all of the major marketplaces. Amazon is where the majority of our revenue was. I used my expertise to focus more on Walmart and additional channels that are out there. And while I was at Aquico, it was during the peak of COVID. And at that time I realized that I was at a point in my life where I thought that I was ready for a dog. So I was on the waiting list for a Corgi, my Corgi Ham, who I've had since 2022. He's almost 3 years now, which is crazy because it feels like I just brought him home yesterday.
Moves
And
fast.
yes, yes. So I brought Ham home, and immediately, as a new dog mom, I wanted to buy him the best of everything, right?
Of course.
Like any dog mom, naturally. And my idea for starting LowRider actually blossomed 2 years ago when I went on a trip to upstate New York with my now husband and Ham. And usually the lore out there is that dogs never get cold, especially corgis, right? They have the long fur, they're very well insulated. It
The
was about,
undercoat.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And usually Ham is a champ. He's great. But when we were upstate, it was the coldest that it's ever been in the last few years in the New York area, and it was about like negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm.
The wind
Yep.
was blowing, it was very icy, and it was the first time that I saw Ham shivering. So immediately I was like, okay, I need to buy this little guy a coat. So we drove up to some local pet stores, and then we bought two coats specifically for him. I remember one, it had a very thin stomach strap, so it kept on sliding on and off, and it didn't cover the majority of his belly. And because he is such a low riding dog, it would get wet and cold. And then the other one tore really quickly. So that winter time, I probably cycled through half a dozen coats for him.
Oh, wow.
And the ones that I really liked were, in my opinion, just very, very high priced for a coat, right? Like I bought one coat that I really liked for him that was about $100, which was more expensive than my own coats.
Right. You're doing all the quality assurance as a customer
Right.
for these.
Yeah, and I thought,
Yeah.
wow, like this coat is great. It keeps Ham warm. It's adorable. But number one, it's so expensive, and I feel like every dog deserves a nice coat and nice products at an accessible price point, right? Because all dogs are so loved, regardless of what you can buy them. And then the second thing is it still wasn't quite perfect because the cut of the jacket was in a way where every time Ham went to the bathroom, there would be a little stain on it. So that kind of gave me the idea of like, okay, so I purchased what I think is like the highest price point product in this market. It's still not quite right. I just want to make one for him myself. And this year things kind of aligned. One of my New Year's resolutions was to just have more balance, not just focus on my core job, which I love, but I decided to say, why not? Let's go for it. Let's start a brand. Let's actually make our dream jacket for Ham, and that's how LowRider started.
That is a great origin
That is a great story. And you said upstate New York, and I'm from New York City. Was it a lot of the lake effect cold that was getting to you that day?
Yes.
Winter?
It was in the Catskills.
My parents had a house there when I was growing up.
Isn't that where they filmed Dirty Dancing?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Catskills.
Yeah.
But yeah, that lake effect snow Canada sends us her very best wind, and then that wind picks up the freezingness of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, whatever part of New York you're in, and then it just dumps snow and cold and on that northern part of New York. So
as an Arizonan, that sounds very scary.
Oh, it is extremely scary.
I don't know that I'd be able to survive it.
No. Okay.
So let's talk about the name history of LowRider Petco.
Yes. Well, LowRider after Ham because he's a lowrider. I don't know if you guys know the song, the song by War. All my friends know the LowRider.
Yes.
I think a lot of pet parents sing a little jingle for their dog. That was always mine for Ham.
Perfect for Corgi.
Yeah. So I decided to call the brand, LowRider, just as a loving dedication to him. But before the brand was LowRider, I actually workshopped a few names. Our brand was almost called Doggy Clo at one point. The dog version of Uniqlo is how I envisioned it.
Yeah.
Uniqlo and LL Bean were two of the human cinder brands that really inspired me because it's high quality products at an accessible price point, and they're known for their craftsmanship and their basics.
Outerwear. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But I did some testing, some like focus group testing with the name and some of the logos, and people didn't get it. So I realized, okay, like if it's not something that like automatically resonates that this is the dog version of Uniqlo or something similar, then it's not going to make much sense. So I decided to scrap that concept and focus on lowrider. Something that's fully just attributed to my inspiration, which is my dog.
Yeah, and once you see a corgi, you get it. Oh, lowrider.
Yeah.
So it may not click for all people or all pet parents.
All of us corgi folks.
But the corgi folks know it right away. And as I say to my husband often, sweetheart, if you have to explain the joke, it's not funny. And if you have to explain the brand, it ain't gonna work.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think LowRider Petco explains it perfectly.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. So you developed a puffer jacket. That was your first item?
Yes.
Can you tell us about the development process of creating it?
Yeah. What's interesting is a lot of the products that you see on the shelves, the development starts at the marketing level. And I'm not saying this is necessarily a good or bad thing, but usually someone will reach out to a factory, they'll have a product ready, and then they'll slap their logo and branding on it. That's not the case with lowrider. So everything with this puffer jacket, this is our medium size here, just as a reference, is custom designed, custom developed. From the fabric itself, it's a very soft outer waterproof nylon, to the dimensions exactly of each size. I measured probably upwards of 50 jackets that I sampled just to kind of get the sizing just right. All of the designs, so the stomach here, right, it's high cut to make sure that it's splash proof for number one. I made the back adjustable so that it starts out quite long for our low and long dogs, but it can be made to be smaller. And the hardware on the back is also not in the direction of a bathroom accident. It's not straight in the back, it's on the side. The neck is adjustable because our little corgi friends technically are a little bit thicker around the neck, but most dogs are not. So every detail of the jacket is very bespoke. And I have this little sample here just as a reference. This was after I decided on the insulation and the material of the fabric itself. So it's very much custom made. It's not going to be like anything that you can find by doing a reverse image search or anything that's currently on the market now with
and substantial. And substantial.
Yes.
Yeah, not some of the cheap like clip packs that you get from
windbreakers.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And if you're listening and not viewing, we highly recommend you go over to our YouTube page so you can see what Christine is showing us.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
It is seriously impressive.
Yeah, some substantial materials here to help keep your lowrider warm and cozy.
Yep. Even here in Arizona, we would because dogs love to. We're here in Phoenix, so it's mild, it's nice, it's lovely.
It's mild now.
It's mild.
Stick around a few months.
And we take a quick drive up to the mountains, up a little bit at a higher elevation, and there's snow, and you
or even going to California at night.
Going to California at night, there's but we have the snow, and the dogs love the snow, and they need that jacket, so that they don't get cold,
especially wet snow,
and they're not used to it. Our little Phoenician dogs are spoiled, in a way.
Yeah, the cold is hard. We like to go to Big Bear and play in the snow, and we always have to have some reinforcements, some booties, some coats,
so take a look on our YouTube channel because
you want to see these. For sure.
You definitely want to see these so that you will order these.
Yeah. So I feel like we've sang your praises, but let's ask you what sets you guys apart? Like why would you purchase lowrider?
Aside from the high quality materials and the specific design, I have personally QA'd the product myself, which I think is a rarity in the dog industry. I made a human version of the jacket that I wore around the house for about a month and a half. before I
can
decided
twin with Ham.
Yeah, so we twin sometimes when we go out. I have his exact jacket on, down to like the hardware, down to the logo that I've tested out to make sure that it's a good solid product for him, right? Because our little four-legged friends, they can tell, you can tell when they really don't like something, but when it's semi uncomfortable, when it's not quite doing what it says it should do, you don't know, right? They're very good at kind of holding that in. So I had to do the testing myself. I got in the shower with it to make sure it was waterproof. I rolled around the floor on the concrete like my dog would to make sure that it's it's going to be
Please tell me you took video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the whole 9 yards. So other than just the most innovative material that's currently out there, and then the hand stitching and the design, I can say from a human perspective that it's a good jacket. It's comfortable. I myself have sensitive skin. I think a lot of dog parents don't know this, but dogs have more sensitive skin than humans do. It hasn't irritated my skin at all. I've been wearing it. I've been trying it, so it's been human QA'd.
It's been human QA.
So awesome.
Now, are you going to do or have you done a line that is the twinsies? Because right now in my brain, I don't do a lot of dress up with my dog because I've always had cats before, and cats are like, I'm sorry, what did you think you were going to put on me, lady? I don't think so. So I don't do a lot of dress up, but I can absolutely see Candy and her corgis running around in little matchy outfits.
I mean, it's happened before.
It has happened.
We were
before.
Chucky and Bride of Chucky.
That's right.
For his birthday.
So are you doing human versions of this?
I'm definitely thinking about it. I want the dog version to be just perfect before I do the human version of the jacket. This is my first season selling the LowRider puffer jacket, and I've been fortunate to receive a lot of feedback, most of it good, but some constructive on the sizing specifically. I think that's one thing that's super challenging to just get right. So I want to narrow my focus to make sure that whatever I'm offering, I'm 100% behind it. So one day maybe that might be a human jacket, but right now I'm focused on the doggos.
Puppers, yep.
I'm still imagining the two of them rolling around.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah. Well, and you're right about the sizing. I serve on the board for Shade Out DM, a degenerative myelopathy awareness group, and we have a loaner cart program for the dogs that need wheelchairs. And that is a specific concern. Most of the wheelchairs, there are, I think, 4 major manufacturers that manufacture dog wheelchairs. And we have the loaner cart program, so they're often used. We swap out parts. I say we. Tawny, our founder, does all of that. I support in other ways. She does all the heavy lifting. But she also often has to have specific measurements geared toward the chair, and then it has to be adjusted. And then even when the pup gets it, it has to be adjusted so they can be comfortable with it. And no 2 pups are the same, right? So what you're talking about is, very, very important. And if you're wanting to get the perfect fit, this is tailor-made stuff here you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us about your new products.
Yes. So I have a few products in development in 2025, but I actually have a sample of it right here. The next product that's coming is going to be this little yellow raincoat here.
That's so cute.
Yeah, that one is currently in production. I'm especially excited about this guy because I've taken some of the feedback on the puffer related to sizing, and I've adjusted that a little bit. I'm also brainstorming a few additional ideas. A paw protector is something that's on my radar for paw licking. Another thing that Ham does a lot in the springtime for his allergies. So that's something I'm brainstorming. Maybe a cold weather boot. And I'm also thinking about a version of the winter puffer, but with a harness attached to it.
Oh,
yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes absolute sense.
I'm excited for these. Can't wait to see them come. So tell us where we can find these items.
Yes, we are online at lowriderpetco.com and also on Amazon currently. So both of those channels, they will have our entire range of sizes from extra small to extra large available. And on Amazon, our product is FBA eligible, so you will get the 2-day shipping.
Oh,
Wonderful.
yeah, that's awesome. And I will include those links in the description box of this episode if you are
Yes.
watching on YouTube, as well as on the audios. I can't wait for the raincoat.
The raincoat is
Because
really
I live in
cute.
Phoenix.
Yeah, we don't get rain.
When we go travel and see our friends where it does rain.
Yeah, where does it?
And my
where
dogs
does
say,
rain?
"What in the world is this wet thing coming
Yes,
down?"
exactly. So now, is LowRider designed only for Corgi lowriders or for other lowriders like Dachshunds?
Great question. The line is designed to focus on small and medium dogs. So it's not just designed for corgis. The adjustability of our jackets, they're meant to fit anything from a Chihuahua to a hefty
Oh.
corgi.
Oh, that's you, Digby.
Aw.
No, actually, he's
You
pretty
fat
decent.
shame him?
Yeah, no, I don't
Fat
fat shame him.
Digby.
He's actually really good.
I prefer the word substantial.
Substantial. No, I think
Substantial.
he's got a little waist. But yeah, that is little Chihuahuas. That's
I'm sure they have a hard time getting good fit too.
good fit,
Oh, yeah.
and the coldness. They don't have any meat on their bones.
Yeah, they
You know?
shiver a lot.
They do shiver a lot. So that's fabulous.
They need a LowRider Petco puffer jacket
They do need a
Yeah.
LowRider
for all the little chihuahuas
puffer jacket.
out
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I love this. So, do you have any advice for someone wanting to launch a business like this? I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of street cred with your background.
Yeah.
Oof, yes, a lot of advice. Even with my background working with a lot of the bigger brands, starting a brand completely by yourself is just a whole nother beast. I would say one of the biggest pieces of advice, going back to what I experienced during the branding, there are a lot of websites out there that give you focus group feedback. So you can get customer feedback pretty early to see if they understand your vision, like I did with the logo. I also did similar customer feedback focus groups on the design and the coloring. So that's something that I would highly, highly recommend. You can narrow down for a lot of these focus group surveys someone that has a dog, or where they're geographically located, or whether or not even if they have an Amazon Prime account, which is incredible information that wasn't accessible 10 years ago unless you're a big CPG company that had the funds. So I would highly recommend that. The second thing that I would really recommend is narrowing your focus to one product and maybe even one retailer. It's easy for me, and I think many other people, to get excited when they're thinking about starting a brand. I had probably a dozen products that I was thinking about potentially launching, from leashes to harnesses to this puffer jacket. I think it's challenging to spread your focus so thin, but also when you narrow down on one product, it allows you to move faster, but also to smooth out some of the operational hiccups that you might have, like in as you develop the product, right?
Right.
Things like actually getting your product to the destination, if you're going to use certain warehousing, how you're going to ship the product. All of those are little details that may seem minute, but are quite tedious to work out. And it's easier to work that out on one product and perfect your operations process, which I know isn't like the coolest or the funnest part of generally launching a brand. But that's going to make your life so much easier when you scale. So I would say, those two are my biggest pieces of advice.
Yeah.
Distribution is huge.
It's huge. Yeah.
That stalemates a lot of potential brands.
It's not sexy or doesn't sound sexy, but you just made 100,000 products and they're stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
In the warehouse. You can't sell a darn thing.
Well, that's why you have websites that do drop shipping, because it's so difficult to get those logistics in place and making them cost effective, where you're putting out a quality product that is affordable.
Exactly.
Yeah, that distribution puts a pin in a lot of that.
That's right.
So that's great, a piece of advice.
And like you were saying, to spread out, one would think, especially if this is new, so really think beyond the obvious. Well, I'm making a dog jacket, dog harness, dog leash, dog. Oh, it's all the same because it's all for dog. No. So that narrowing things down is super helpful in whatever you do.
Yes.
Kat's a former business coach. She would say, make things succinct.
Yes. Yeah. I never do it myself, but make things succinct.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, those are two huge things. Don't try to make and be everything to everyone, and make sure that when you create what you've got, you can get it into the hands of the people who are paying you money.
Yes. Yeah.
I love
Definitely.
it. I love it.
Definitely delicious nuggets there. And so how is Ham with being your model and spokesmodel there? Is pretty tolerant with the hair, try this on, snap this around?
Yeah, there's a limit to how hard he's willing to work, to be quite honest.
Sure.
he loves testing things. He'll give me a very clear side eye if he doesn't like something that I put on him, as corgis do. So very great product tester. He especially likes toys and things of that sort that are probably later in the product development pipeline. But yeah, he's great. I especially use him for fit. Yes, there's a level to his professionalism. All of our professional photo shoots are done with a professional corgi model. Ham is not as compliant when it comes to posing to specific directions. But
Mom. Oh, I love it. I can hear the protest. Mom, why? Why?
There's a reason why he's the chief cuteness officer and not the chief operational officer.
We all have our strengths, Ham. Yeah. We all have our strengths.
That's it. So he product tests, and he is the fit model, and he's the one with the straight pins and sitting still, but he is not the professional model.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
the professional models work for treats. They have a directive.
They have a directive. Yeah. The professional models. Yes, of course. I'm sure Ham works for treats as well.
Yeah. Just has different preferences.
And that is, you have to have a corgi team to do this.
Sure. We have one here.
You have a corgi team to do this show and everything, and you have a corgi team to create these products. That's amazing.
You can be a spokes corg and not do the modeling.
That's right.
Right, Chuckles? Yeah, he agrees.
He agrees.
Well, Christine, thank you so much for sharing your vision with us, and we can't wait to see what's next.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
And everything will be linked down below in the description so that your LowRider corgi
can be comfortable and
or
fashionable.
Otherwise can be comfortable and fashionable and toasty warm
in quality products.
That will not break the bank.
QA'd by Ham himself.
Yeah,
just not modeled.
Just not modeled by Ham, but QA'd by Ham.
Yes, but we do encourage you to support small business.
Yes.
You're helping someone here with their vision who shares a love of our LowRiders.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much, Christine. We hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Yes, thank you, and happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes.
Bye. So you're getting a puffer jacket for Digby for when you take him up north?
Maybe.
Yeah. Because you guys go in colder climates sometimes.
We do sometimes. You do go in colder climates.
I feel like he needs a LowRider Petco puffer jacket. He'd be really handsome in it.
He probably would be. Or, when we go up to Washington State in the summer because it's cold and rainy there. Not always.
That's what I was thinking. Oh, the raincoat. Oh, the adorable raincoat.
The raincoat will be great.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
And please patronize LowRider Petco. Please check out their products and stay tuned for new ones. We know we will. And if you liked this episode, please like and subscribe. They're not all creator series. This is just a segment. We do have things all about the love of pets and the health and well-being of your pets. We're all about the pups here. We're here for you every week. Signing off, Candy and Chuckles, the Corgi Committee.
And Catherine and Digby.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.